You close the front door. You hear that soft click of the lock. And on the other side, your dog is listening. Not to the door. To you. To your footsteps fading down the hall. To the engine starting in the driveway. To the silence that comes after. Have you ever wondered what your dog actually does in those first few minutes alone? Not later, when it's curled up napping. Not at night, when it greets you at the door. But right then, in the strange quiet of a home suddenly missing its person. Most owners assume the answer is simple. The dog lies down, the dog sleeps, the dog waits. But hidden cameras, behavioral studies, and quiet researchers with stopwatches have all said something different. Because what your dog does the moment you leave is not boredom. It's a small emotional ritual. And once you see it, you can't unsee it. To understand it, we have to drop one very human idea. The idea that when we leave, our dogs simply switch off. They don't. Their world doesn't pause because we're gone. It actually gets louder, sharper, and more uncertain. Because to a dog, you are not just a person. You are a moving landmark, a source of food, a generator of routine, and the safest smell in their entire world. And when that landmark walks out the door, something in their brain has to handle it. So let's open that door again, quietly this time, and follow what really happens. The first minute after you leave is the loudest minute of your dog's day. Researchers studying separation behavior have found that the highest peak of stress, vocalization, and movement happens in the first 60 to 90 seconds. This is the window where dogs whine, pace, scratch at the door, or stand frozen with their ears tilted toward the hallway. Some dogs will press their nose against the gap under the door, breathing in the trail you left behind. Some will follow your scent from room to room, retracing the exact path you took before leaving. Some will sit in the spot where you said goodbye and stay there, as if the air still remembers you. This isn't drama. This is a brain trying to update a map. Your dog is essentially asking, in the only way it can, did my person really leave, or are they still close? And that question takes time to settle. After that first emotional minute, something quieter begins. A check. Your dog will often start a slow patrol of the home. It might walk to the window, then to the back door, then to your bedroom, then to the couch where you usually sit. Behaviorists call this a security sweep. It's the dog confirming, point by point, that the territory is unchanged. If a beloved object of yours is on the floor, like a sock or a slipper or a hoodie, your dog may stop there for a long moment. Some dogs will pick it up and carry it. Some will lie down on top of it. Some will simply rest their chin against it and exhale. To them, your scent isn't a memory. It's a presence. A worn t-shirt left on the couch can lower a dog's heart rate the way a hand on the shoulder calms a child. In one study, dogs left alone with a piece of fabric carrying their owner's scent showed significantly less stress than dogs given a neutral cloth. The scent didn't replace you, but it whispered that you still existed. Now here's where things get interesting. Because not every dog does the same thing. Researchers have noticed at least 3 broad patterns in how dogs handle the moment after you leave. There is the watcher. There is the wanderer. And there is the sleeper. The watcher posts up at a window or a door and keeps a quiet vigil. Cars pass. Birds land. People walk by. The watcher tracks them all, not for entertainment, but for one specific signal, the return of your footsteps. The wanderer moves through the house like a small detective, sniffing surfaces, checking rooms, lying briefly in your scent before getting up again. This dog is the one most likely to chew, dig, or rearrange things, not out of mischief, but out of an unsettled nervous system trying to discharge energy. And then there is the sleeper. The sleeper is often misunderstood. We assume a sleeping dog is a relaxed dog. But scientists who have studied canine sleep with cameras and heart monitors have found something striking. Many dogs left alone fall into sleep faster than usual, almost like a coping shutdown. Their bodies rest, but their ears stay half tuned to the world. The slightest sound of a car door, a key, a creak on the stairs, and they are instantly awake. This is not deep healing sleep. This is sentry sleep. A dog on watch even with its eyes closed. Now pause here for a second because I want to ask you something. Which one is your dog? The watcher at the window, the wanderer through the rooms, or the sentry sleeper with one ear always tilted toward the door? Tell me in the comments, because the pattern your dog shows says a lot about how it bonds with you. And once you start noticing, you'll see it every single time you walk out the door. Now let's get back to what happens next. Because after the first burst of stress and the slow security sweep, something gentler takes over. Routine. Dogs are extraordinary creatures of habit. After about 15 to 30 minutes alone, most well-adjusted dogs settle into a predictable rhythm that mirrors the rhythm of your home. If you usually nap on the couch in the afternoon, your dog may climb onto that couch. If you usually sit by a window with coffee, your dog may rest near that window. If you tend to leave a particular lamp on, your dog often chooses that lit room over the dark ones. Your habits are their architecture. Even in your absence, the shape of your day still holds them. But there is one detail that researchers find especially moving. Many dogs, at some point during your absence, return to the door. Not to escape, just to check. They sniff the gap. They listen. They wait. Then they go back to whatever they were doing. A few minutes later, they come back to the door again. And again. These little check-ins continue all day, like small prayers spoken to an empty hallway. Time for a dog doesn't pass the way it does for us. There is good evidence that dogs perceive duration partly through their sense of smell. As the hours go by, your scent in the home slowly fades. And some scientists believe dogs use that fading scent as a kind of clock. When your smell is still strong, you feel recent. When it weakens, the dog senses that more time has passed. It's why some dogs grow visibly more excited as the hour of your usual return approaches, even without a watch, a phone, or a single human cue. The air itself is telling them it's almost time. Of course, not every story inside an empty house is peaceful. Some dogs struggle deeply with being alone, and this is something worth speaking about with care. True separation anxiety is not a dog being naughty. It is a genuine emotional disorder, closer to a panic attack than a bad habit. These dogs may pant, drool, destroy door frames, or vocalize for long stretches, not because they are angry, but because they are overwhelmed. If you've ever come home to a scene that looked like chaos, it's worth knowing that your dog wasn't punishing you. Your dog was trying, in a clumsy and desperate way, to cope. The good news is that with patient training, gradual departures, enrichment, and sometimes professional help, these dogs can learn that an empty house is not a dangerous one. But even the calmest, most confident dog carries something quietly while you are gone. Anticipation. There is a famous line of research where scientists measured a hormone called oxytocin, often called the bonding hormone, in dogs and their owners. When a dog and its person reunite after time apart, both of their oxytocin levels rise sharply. It's the same chemical surge that happens between a parent and a child, which means the joyful explosion you see when you walk through the door, the wagging, the spinning, the leaning, the little cries, isn't just excitement. It's love, measured in chemistry. And it has been building quietly the entire time you were gone. So picture it now. You leave the house in the morning. Your dog stands at the door for a minute or two listening. Then it walks slowly through the rooms, checking that the world is still in place. It finds something that smells like you and rests there for a while. It naps with one ear tilted toward the street. It returns to the door now and then just to be sure. It moves with the rhythm of a house shaped by your habits. And as the afternoon light shifts and your scent thins, it begins to feel, somehow, that you are close again. Then your key turns in the lock. And every small ritual of the day collapses into one moment of pure, uncomplicated joy. This is the part most of us never see. The quiet hours in between. The patience. The waiting. The small, devoted ways a dog holds space for someone who isn't there. We tend to think of loyalty as a grand, dramatic thing. But in dogs, loyalty often looks like a sock pulled off the floor and slept on, a nose pressed against a door, a patrol of empty rooms, a nap on the couch where you usually sit. It is love expressed as routine. And maybe that is the most humbling part of sharing your life with a dog. While you're out there moving through your day, juggling work and errands and screens and people, there is a small creature at home who has organized its entire emotional world around the sound of your return. Not because you are perfect, not because you always get it right, but because to your dog, you are home itself. So the next time you reach for your keys and your dog gives you that long, quiet look, remember what is about to happen on the other side of that door. A minute of worry, a walk through the rooms, a scent held close, a long, patient wait, on a heart that has been counting in its own way every hour until you come back. If this gave you a new way to see your dog, do me a small favor and hit the like button so more dog lovers can find it. Subscribe to Animind for more stories about how animals really think and feel. And in the comments, tell me what your dog does the moment you leave the house, the watcher, the wanderer, or the sentry sleeper. I read every single one, and your stories often inspire the next video. Speaking of which, next time we're going to step inside another mystery hiding in plain sight. What your dog actually sees when it looks at your face. Because the answer is stranger and far more tender than most of us imagine. Until then, give your dog an extra moment at the door today. They've been waiting for it longer than you think.